We're that GD podcast.
We're
that GD podcast.
Let's just record ourselves.
We're
singing,
that GD
acapella.
podcast.
Can you?
Hey, brother, don't you forget to smash that like button out there, or the Hulkamania is going to run wild on you.
There's times where my wife has to come out and yell at both me and my daughter to stop being immature, and I'm like, "Sorry, Mom." If I talk to Letty at some point during our conversation, I'm going to ask her something. She goes, "Okay, Andy, here's the deal," and then she'll you can tell she's like, "How do I deal with this ignorant bastard?"
I run across other kids her age, older, younger, in that same age range. Those kids sound dumb as shit. It is freaking awesome.
I think I've said to her several times, I don't want to fight you, Abby, and I've just walked away. And as I'm walking away, I'm trying to act cool, but I'm also kind of protecting my neck in case she's coming.
What?
Is that not how it goes? No.
You guys are gonna get canceled real fast. Do not say that.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to that GD podcast. I'm joined by my friends Kyle this week,
I'm back.
Andy,
Every week.
and I'm Jay Ray. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in, for listening to our shenanigans. Grab an ice. I won't hand you the ice. That's probably weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought about it. Promise.
All right.
3.
No, in the microphone. In the front of the microphone.
I'm working on it. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
I think I was early.
That was our best one. That was our best one.
All right.
Was our
give me
best
that
one?
ice.
Yeah, that was our
the
best one.
Okay.
So anyway, what do you got for the show tonight?
Yes, I have stuff. Forgot.
Actual girl dad topics.
I've tried to veer back like 3 times.
You did.
It's me that pulls us off, and I don't care.
All right, so we have a serious one. It's really just 2 serious topics. So I'll lead off with this. College.
Okay.
I failed out. Not smart. I made poor choice. I drank a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
Didn't go to school. I was just like, I don't need to go to class.
You just
I
got to
wish
get
I
through
could-
freshman year.
I want to meet that, Justin. I know it's not possible, but when I met you, you were like, yeah, I don't drink. And now you're having a sip of whiskey once a week with us, which is awesome. But that randomly you'll be like, oh, I used to drink a lot. And it's like, I wonder what that Justin's like. Anyhow, sorry. Continue.
It's been a thing for me for a long time. Just one time. Just one time. Just one time. I want to see it just one time. Then I'll probably want to see it like 2 or 3 times. He shows me a lot of pictures of his meat, but I want to see that version of Justin one time.
Maybe.
Go on.
Yeah.
College.
So yeah, in college, I didn't do well. I wasn't in the right mindset for it. Maybe college just wasn't for me. And it wasn't that I wasn't smart. I just thought I was too smart. Like high school was 0 effort for me.
Right. Correct.
Didn't do my homework, still make good grades. Got to college. I went into like a junior level history class because of AP courses. So I was kind of thought I was hot shit. Right. So I failed out. And where I'm going with this is, Andy, did you attend a 4-year university?
I attended a county college, which technically was a 4-year, but it was a county college. But the company that I worked for at the time, and I get mad about this now, it was totally my decision. But the boss that I had at the time, I was moving up within the company, and the boss basically said, he said it to me repeatedly, hey, if you're going to work here your whole life, we don't care if you have a college degree. You should quit college and focus on getting promoted here. And I ended up doing that after the 3rd time he told me.
Yeah.
And it worked out well for 18 years. And then once I realized I was leaving that company, it was oh shit.
Yeah, that guy's dumb shit.
I don't have a college degree, and I've only worked for one company my whole basic career. Shit. Now, luckily, it worked out for me, and I like my job now.
Right.
But for me, that's a life lesson that I'm going to look at my daughter and be like, hey, try to get your degree so you have options for the rest of your life.
Right.
You might not ever use it, and the things you do for a living might not require it. But just in case.
Can promise you will not. You probably won't ever use it.
Yeah. But just in case. And that's kind of where I'm at mentally. Now, I don't know what my daughter's going to end up being into.
Right.
But my gut reaction to it, my knee-jerk reaction is you should try to get a 4-year degree. It might come in handy one day.
Yeah. And so, Kyle, you got a horsey degree.
Yeah, so I graduated University of Arizona. I did the community college for 2 years as well. I experienced the first year drunk consistently. The difference on that was I'd already done my 2 years of basics, so I went straight into the courses that mattered to my degree, and they were easy.
Because it's about horses?
Yeah, it's about ponies.
Okay.
So I'd already known all this stuff it was like a year off almost. I could just show up and be done. But I will say I do think that degree got me indoors. And I never followed it. I never did anything with it.
But you think it got you promoted?
I think it got me within doors that without that same thing, without that bachelor's of sciences, that's all it says. Now, I tell people what it is in interviews and hiring processes, but without a bachelor's of sciences from a notable, or great, and good university, I got people to listen to me.
Okay, so where I was going with this is we all have pretty successful careers. I don't have a college degree. He doesn't have a college degree. You do. So this is actually probably really good for this. How much emphasis are we going to put on our daughters for college?
Go ahead.
It depends on where she starts to veer towards career path wise. Because I firmly believe in trade schools to a degree. Like if she suddenly wants to be a hairdresser, like there's no need to go get a college degree, go to a hair school, whatever. If you have, I'm trying not to be sexist with this, but like I would say, if you have a son that wants to be a mechanic, like maybe he needs to go to DeVry or whatever it is. So I think
That closed down.
okay, well, I'm old. But I think there are trade schools, but some kind of education after high school geared towards what you want to do, I think is awesome. And again, like when I said this earlier, but when I was 20 and working for that company, like I was rolling in the bucks for a 20-year-old, compared to what an adult should be making. Like I wasn't making a lot. But at the time, like I was like, oh, you're just seeing dollar signs. Like I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point where you're 35 and you realize you might want to make a career change. And at that point, for a while, I knew a lot of people in their mid 30s that were going back to school to finish out their degree so they could hopefully make a career change. And it's never too late to go back. But at the same time, if you can knock it out when you're 18 to 22, that's fantastic. So
Yeah.
I'll answer 10 of 10.
Yeah?
yeah.
Yep.
So I
And-
work in construction. Go ahead.
No, it has nothing to do with it has everything to do with the fact that I'm going to come across one certain way here. Every dad at this table has gifted daughters. Like they're smart, they've been given opportunities, they're athletic, they have certain things that a lot of other kids don't have.
Special needs? Gifted?
Well, at times, yeah. And I want what's best for them. And I think that we shouldn't trust 18-year-olds all the time to tell us that they know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. Now, granted, if they're a freak athlete and they've got every basketball scholarship on the table possible, yeah, there's a good chance they're probably going to go play basketball for a long time, right? Like every single like there's a good chance. I'm not saying it's guaranteed by any means, but if they want to tell me like I want to do nails for the rest of my life, I'm like, do you?
Yeah.
Is that what you want to do? And there's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But have that thing beside you. Have that one thing beside you that could open a door, that could be a window to the next step. And I just think we have very smart girls here, and I want them to have every opportunity that they could possibly have. I can assure you in my career, there would have been doors shut on me if I would have had nothing.
Yeah. And even I think that it's going to grow in the next 10 years even more, but like the online options for school, like even if my daughter at 18 graduates high school and she's like, I know what I'm going to do, I'm going to start my own company right now, I would still be encouraging her like, hey, you should try to take some classes in the evening and like over the next couple of years work on getting your bachelor's or whatever it is.
Yeah, work on that business 100%.
That would be my advice.
But throw some other things at it and just keep it alive. Keep it alive. Going back at 35, dude, I would not.
My wife tried to talk me into that.
Yes, I did.
Dude, my wife tried to talk me into that in my 30s for a while because I did my whole first year and like half of my second year. So I'm like a half a year away from at least my 2-year degree. And it's just one of those where if nothing else, it'd just be nice to have that, to say I did it. And she tried to talk me into it quite a bit. And I'm just lazy about it. I got stuff to do in the evening. But one day I always keep that in the back of my head that like, wouldn't it be neat one day? Like maybe when Lennon's in college, to go back and be like, hey, I'm trying to get my degree too. I don't know.
So I have an associate's, and I'm one.
You have a degree?
Yeah, I'm one full year away from. It's in aviation sciences.
it doesn't matter sometimes.
Yeah.
For the most part, it doesn't matter. That's really
Yeah.
not what
It's a-
employers are looking for.
It's a box they check. Do you have a
Yes.
degree? Yes.
Yeah.
It could be in horsies. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, nice nay laugh. I'm going to be, I'm a year away from finishing a bachelor's in electronics engineering. Not that I want to do that.
sounds awesome.
Okay, so this leads me, I was kind of curious, wanting to gauge of where you all were on this college thing. So, have any of your kids told you what they want to be when they grow up?
Do you all have kids that change their thing every couple months?
Absolutely.
Yes.
yeah.
Now, Abby has been pretty consistent.
Yes.
She wants a professional soccer player. She's
Okay.
good. She's built for athletics. Maybe. Who knows? That'd be cool. That'd be great. Never just bank on that because she could tear an ACL tomorrow and all the growth has gone away. But she's always said she wants to be an orthopedic oncologist. Also, and I'm like, cool. Math is hard.
Yeah.
Math is her
A
struggle.
lot of
thought it was
schooling that goes into
pediatric.
that.
I did. What did I say?
Orthopedic.
Sorry, pediatric oncologist. I apologize. The other two words didn't make a lot of sense together. I don't.
No. But, so, that's cool.
But it's a passion.
It is, yes.
And she's the only other thing she said is she wants to be a nonprofit CEO for a homeless organization. She has a lot of passion for the homeless community, and that's been a thing of hers. But she's been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Carter, she's 8.
Yeah.
Shit, whatever. She wants to do all the things, and let's do all the things.
So I don't want to like squash their if it's like you want to be an esthetician, a nail technician, whatever it is, whatever they're called, esthetician I think is what it's called. Like you said, sure. I don't think I'm going to say, are you sure? I'm going to try to, now that I understand life a little better, try to coach them into, all right, so you want to be a nail technician, that's fine. Do you want to work for someone or do you want to own your own salon? And if that answer is, I want to own my own place, cool. I think you should go to college for a business degree so you understand at least how economics work, because business schools don't teach you how to run businesses.
And having a business degree, I'm going to bet would factor into getting a good business loan. Maybe that's not right, but I feel like that would be a
It
part
would
of
definitely help. And when I said, "Are you sure?" I didn't mean like, "Are you sure that's what you want to do?"
Oh, okay.
What I meant was, "Are you sure that that's the final stop?
Gotcha.
That is the final road that you want to go down?" Because if that's what you prepare for, like if you go to a trade school to be a mechanic, is that what you want to do? Because that is really what you're prepared for.
Yeah.
That is it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And there are extraordinarily gifted people who go down that route and make
Buku's dollars.
a way better career than I do. Trust
Yeah.
me. And they kill it, and that's their thing, and that's awesome. But you can't go to the esthetician.
Almost there.
It's a big word.
And you can't do that and then be like, "Hey, I want to be a scientist."
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd prefer you prepare to be a scientist and figure it out from there.
Yeah.
My kid wants to be she goes through phases of everything, but she'll always say, I want to be this, or, and her fallback is always or an archaeologist. And this all stems from one camping trip. My buddy Clint, who we've talked about several times.
Exists.
Yes, Clint exists. When we used to go camping during COVID, we would meet him out in the middle of nowhere, New Mexico, like outside of Carlsbad, where we were 40 miles from the closest anything. And he would set up a dig site for her and like use the string or the lines to do a grid. And he would teach her how to plot the things that they found. So he got her hooked on that. So everything she wants to be the president or an archaeologist, which that's her thing right now because the election's happening, is she wants to be the president. And I love it because she says, yeah, I only wanted to be the president for one term because I just want to get in there and fix everything and then let somebody else do it. And I'm like, that's how everybody starts. Like, just, with a like rosy attitude about like, oh, I'm going to fix everything. And I don't have the heart to tell her, but I want to be like, no, you'll get corrupted along the way. Like you won't give up power. Anyhow, but her thing, she bounces around so often where like once a month, she's like, I want to be this when I grow up.
Yeah, I think
or
they're
an
at that age.
archaeologist.
Yeah.
I think they're at that age.
Yeah.
I think Letty, of all of my children, has the most concrete plan of what she's
Conviction.
going to do.
Yeah. All right.
What is Letty?
She said when she turns 14, she's going to babysit.
Okay.
until she's 16.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. A correction. 12, she's going to start babysitting until she's 14. 14, work at Chick-fil-A. Work at Chick-fil-A through high school. Graduate high school, go to college, and then become a spy.
Why Chick-fil-A? real
Spy.
quick?
Yes. Yes.
Hold on. Why Chick-fil-A though?
Both mom and dad worked at Chick-fil-A. That's where we
Okay.
met.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I met my wife.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense now. I was going to say just a random and then I'm going to work at Sonic, specifically Sonic. Like, why?
Nope. Yep. So Chick-fil-A, yeah. And then be a spy.
Yeah, she is made to be a spy. One thing
Yeah.
I've got to compliment Letty real quick. It is one of the most confusing things in my adult life that I run across other kids her age, older, younger, in that same age range.
3 to 5.
And I always see these kids and they're more physically developed. They're taller. They're bigger. Letty's small. Those kids sound dumb as shit.
They do.
Letty has been speaking in full sentences and completely clearly giving what she wants to say, whether it be a pain in the ass or not, because she is one of those. She's Abby.
Yeah.
She's Abby.
I'm trying not to just be like, okay.
No, it's true though. It's like she's so vocal about her opinions and how she feels, and it's a good thing. You've got to lean into that. It sucks for a while. It sucks a lot, even as they grow up. But they have to have that, and she has that gift, and she has that ability to speak and convey emotion and convey how she feels, and it is freaking awesome.
She conveys her frustration too. I was telling Justin this the other night. But you know when you're talking to an adult and you maybe ask a dumb question and you can see on their face that they're like, "What are you, a moron?" They don't say that, but you can see it and they kind of go, "Oh, okay, let me break it down for you, dummy." Like, you know that look?
Yeah.
Letty gives me that daily. If I talk to Letty at some point during our conversation, I'm going to ask her something and she goes, Okay, Andy, here's the deal. And then she'll you can tell she's like, how do I deal with this ignorant bastard?
Dude, she thinks
Yeah.
on a different level than
She does.
than most kids in their single digits, much less 4.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah.
Almost 5.
4.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to do to her now is to make her have to do a mental reset and be like, "Fuck, look at Dad, why are you bringing these people around?" Like, that's kind of the look she gives. So
I think she does that for me. I'll see her playing in her room and I come in like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Just genuinely asking, like, I want to know, what are you playing? What are you pretending? And she'll stop and kind of do that, like, here comes this moron again.
Oh my God, not again.
Dad, I'm pretending, first of all. And
can't you tell?
I'm pretending this, and I'm a spy. And okay, all right. I know you're pretending.
No, she's got a gift.
Yeah.
She 100% has a gift, and it is really cool. And I've enjoyed seeing it since she was a baby.
Baby.
And I'm not saying that because I'm a little favoritism towards her, but she can speak in a way that other kids cannot speak and convey emotion, convey anger and happiness, and convey satirical humor and things like that. I'm like, God, that is so advanced.
I feel like that's normal, though.
It's not. So I've met her. I've known her well for probably like a year or less, even probably.
Yeah.
And when she was like 3, I remember she'd walk up and be like, "So Andy, tell me about your weekend," or
Yeah.
just something like that. Where it didn't compute. I heard the words, but I'm looking at her tiny little self, and it was just like, "What?" Like,
And she's small.
Yeah.
She is small.
She is a
Yeah.
small child.
but
Tiny.
the way she even phrases it, she's like, "So Andy, did you have a good weekend?" Or just something like that, where it's like, a 3-year-old's not talking in those kind of sentences at all. You know, you're lucky if they say, "How are you?"
Yeah.
But she's like, "So Andy, tell me, you went to Ohio last weekend? How was it?" You know, like shit like that, where I'm just like, wow.
That's probably a large part because of my wife. And like, I think being around 2 older
siblings.
4 older kids.
Yeah.
Older kids all the
4
time.
older
Are you
kids.
including
Yeah.
yourself?
No.
So
I
5.
mean, I am a child. 6 older children. If we rope Kyle into this one,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that's helping a lot.
That's what. So yes, having the older siblings, I think does. But I'm going to jump off of this real quick onto the other one. You know how everybody always women will make the joke like, "Well, it's like I have an extra kid because my husband's so mature."
Yeah.
Does anybody else lean into that? Because I lean into that hardcore. Like, there's times where my wife has to come out and yell at both me and my daughter to stop being immature, and I'm like, "Sorry, Mom." It's kind of enjoyable for me to.
I feel like I've lost that.
You've lost that.
I was.
I still have that. It drives my wife nuts, but me and my daughter, like,
I don't know, maybe a little bit. Justin can probably answer that better than I can.
You have moments.
I'm definitely a dumbass.
Agreed.
I think your older daughter has hit a certain age where now you kind of have to start being a little more like you're setting an example for her, whereas my kid's still in that range where I can be immature with her. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think we're at the fun age where they get the inside jokes. They have the humor understanding is a little bit more advanced, and reading situations is maybe we just have like gifted children, like Kyle said, but I feel like I could be goofy and immature, like an immature teenage boy, and it would be totally fine. Like I don't need to be like, it's not going to veer her down a wrong path or anything like that. I don't believe. She can read the room.
Well, and that goes back to like we were talking about last time, where like you can be immature with her for a while, but then you know when it needs to, everything needs to straighten up. And because you said you guys can share a look and know that, hey, we're not doing this anymore. And so you have that where you both know the cutoff and you can communicate non-verbally to be like, hey, we're done here.
Yeah.
As long as you still have that, it's fine. It's if it slips out of that range where then you're trying to be like, hey, we're done, and she's not done, that's where it can become a problem.
I don't know. I feel like I just had a concerning thought that I'm growing out of that stage with Abby.
You're the youngest at this table though, so like you mean because of her age you're growing out of it, or you think you're getting into old man status? Like are you about to go out on the lawn and tell people to slow down or what?
No, because me and Carter still just cut up all the time.
So it's Abby's age.
And
She's
I don't know if it's Abby's age. I think it's Abby. I feel like I just have to kind of keep this relationship a little bit more father-daughter and less friend-friend sometimes now than I used to. And that sucks because we're best buddies.
You don't have to go into detail on this, but does that she's transitioning into a woman now? Like, does that kind of factor in? Like, she's about to be possibly dating or whatever it may be. That now you've got to kind of slide into more of the father protector role, or not?
I feel like she gets enough teenage bullshit from boys throughout her week, and I'm just like, I don't want to slip back into this role of kid next to her. I've got to be the dad. I've got to be the leader.
When they start to be around, teenage boys are the worst. But I feel like without realizing you're doing it, there's going to be a point where all three of us are going to start to turn into like trying to be an example of the man our daughters deserve.
I think that's perfectly what we do when they're 8 and 9, though.
At 9, I'm not there yet. I'm acting
really?
like a dumbass. Yeah.
I'm trying to do that for Amelia.
I display that when I'm the way me and my wife treat each other.
Yeah. No, for sure. I can almost assure you, without saying, sorry to cut you off. I can almost assure you that we all do that.
Yeah.
We all go out of our way to ensure that especially in front of our kids, we do not punch our wives in the face.
Just the throat.
Not when they're looking, at least.
Right, not when they're looking.
Yeah.
No. You like hit them with a pillow, or you choke them with a string or something.
One, just because I'm the king of sidetracking us, I take pride in that. You made a comment earlier about when you and Abby had the moment where she said she was not a fan of you. And you said she might have been going through some other stuff. This is more mom and dad related than having to do with kids, but like. For my whole life, I've been really good at like if I'm in an irritable mood, and we all have days like that. We're just irritable. Like if my wife comes home, or even back when she was my girlfriend, like I would tell her instantly, like, "Hey, I'm in an irritable mood today, and like it'd be best if you gave me some space." Or, "Hey, if I snap on you, I want you to know that I'm mad about some other stuff. So please don't take anything I say, or if I'm seeming distant." I like to get that out in the open right off the bat. And my wife she's gonna get mad at me saying this, but she kind of learned from that. And now she'll come home some days and be like, "Hey, I've been in a mood all day." And I'm just like, "Noted. Like, got it. Like, I'm going to give you some space tonight. And if you seem a little snappy, I know it's not me." But we've hit a point where our communication's awesome like that. Where like, fair warning, I'm ready to flip out on somebody. Watch your words. We say it nicer than that, but that's kind of the general tone.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that with your wife? Do you feel like there's that level of communication? And is that something we should talk to our daughters about? Because I think my kids have the same thing happen where like, she's kind of taking some shit out on me that I'm like, I don't think you're really mad at me. I think you're mad at some other stuff and you're taking it out on me. And I almost think I should have that talk with Lennon now about, hey, if you're in a mood, it's okay to be in a mood. If you had a bad day at school and you're in a mood, it's cool. Like, let me know.
So you're doing it preemptively. I do it reactively.
After you've flipped out a little
Yeah,
bit?
like, hey, like now that I'm thinking about it like this, it was agitating at work. It was a long day. My brain is mush from trying to teach electricians to be electricians. So
Yeah.
my bad. And maybe I should start doing that.
I don't know how other people feel inside, but like I can recognize it in myself when I'm just like it always takes one little thing where somebody's like, "Oh, excuse me," and I'm like, "Oh yes, fucking excuse you," or when I don't say that to them, but in my head I get mad at somebody for doing something that wasn't mean at all,
Yeah.
and instantly I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm just in a mood. I better tell my loved ones real quick that be like, sorry, I apologize in advance." So I don't know, I didn't know if that was like something that's normal in marriages or
Are you changing the I'm sorry to them too, or just me?
just you.
Okay.
By the way, if I start to say I'm sorry, I'm going to say fuck you going forward. Don't take any offense to it.
Because I told him he apologized too much.
Is that like starting off a sentence with no offense, but
No. That's what I didn't think about it when you said that last week, but I had a girlfriend back in like high school that constantly was like, stop apologizing. And like, I think that's a weird self-deprecate. I don't know what the right word is for that, but I've done that my whole life.
it's a protection thing.
I'm quick to say sorry all the time. Oh, sorry. So
Yeah. Like whenever he was bring up a topic, he would say, "I'm sorry."
Sorry, sorry I did that. Sorry, yeah.
yeah,
don't-
I'm quick to apologize. I don't know.
Don't say sorry. It's a good topic.
Yeah.
Do y'all think we can shape our girls into like having a personality that gives them a better chance of success in life and in relationships? Because we've all seen some relationships where you see like, oh man, those personalities should not be together, or like this personality is just not good to be around another human being for prolonged periods of time.
I'll take that real quick because I don't think we can shape their personality. And I think the harder you try to mold their personality, the more it's going to backfire on you. But we can teach them good work ethic. Like when you talk about being successful in business, like
Yeah.
I think that's something where I normally can relate it to her through sports, like being a good teammate, having a good work ethic, that stuff. But like teaching them those fundamentals and then also displaying it in front of them and also in a relationship, like here's how you should treat your spouse. So I think we can show them the individual little things. But man, I'm a big believer that the more you try to mold your kid or push them into what you want them to be, it's going to have negative consequences. You got to let their personality develop and hope you've stuck enough good building blocks in there to where they don't become a shitty person.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I think I really tried to push personality type on Abby growing up. Be this tough ass son of a bitch who doesn't take shit from anybody.
You succeeded.
Very much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it may be more of a backfire situation at times.
Yeah. You don't say.
But maybe it'll come in handy. And then with Carter, I gave nothing other than the fact that I was just here and I was there. I was a friend, and I'm ready to help. And it's blossoming into this amazing person. And I don't want. I just don't think it's going to have the impact that you think it'll have in the
think-
long run.
A lot of times it'll have a unintended consequence that is something you wish didn't happen, but then you can look back and be like, like I trying to force this, now I'm dealing with that or whatever it is.
Yeah, maybe just tone it down a little bit for the second kid. Give it the same thing, just turn it down just a little bit.
Yeah. So like I'm thinking back to from my childhood, I tried to pinpoint like were there any points in time where my dad was trying to like shape my personality and all this stuff, and I can't figure out any point in time where anything he did got me to the person I am today. But there are times where I start doing things like I will just be working and working and working, and then I'm thinking about it, and it's like, where did I get this like work ethic from? Is that from just like an inherited work ethic or what? And so I started thinking about it. And my dad was a single dad, and he would take me on. He used to inspect airplane crashes, and so he would take me to these if he couldn't find a sitter or anything like that. And dude would come in and all hours of the day, just work. We go in on Saturdays. And he was a salaried position, but he didn't have to. But he did go in, and it was just an interesting thing where it dawned on me like maybe we don't have to try and shape the personalities consciously. It's just how we live our lives, how we're conducting ourselves with our spouses, how we're conducting ourselves with our other children. Yeah. And that's going to be that subconscious thing that's in their head that ultimately shapes their personality.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's where I was going with that. Is it's not the message you send all the time that will actually make them who they are. Yes, it's going to impact them, but at some point, it's going to have a negative return. Because I harped on Abby. I built a machine. I built a monster.
She is a machine.
I built a monster. But as she grows older and older, her personality more leans towards what she sees. No matter what I built, no matter what I said,
Yeah.
she's going to take the sarcasm. She's going to take that side that she sees from me throughout my normal day, my normal life, more than any message that I can convey over and over and over, no matter how much I bang it in. I've thought about this lately. Like Andy, you may be able to help me here. There was a quarterback for OU back in the day that was like literally like this. I mean, this is like 90s, 80s. He was literally like a machine.
It's because you're old.
No,
I got nothing.
and I think about these athletes that get built that are like machines, and some of them, like this 0.021% takes this. I'm a machine now. I'm literally made for this, and I think I kind of started trying to build that as a young 7, 8-year-old, and it to some parts of it took, and some of it went with her, and then it just slowly started transitioning into I'm actually going to be who I see every day, not this message that you send me.
Yeah.
And I think you're 100% right that they are going to grow based on what they see, not what they hear.
Like actions speaking louder than words.
Well, and that goes back to, me and Kyle worked at the same company. I worked there 18 years. You're still there.
Yep.
But
That
when
is not how we met.
No, but when you get promoted up through a certain point, like the interview questions are the same every time, and the questions are available for you to look at in advance, and it's like 5 questions with 4 probes per question or whatever. And one of them, and it's been a while since I did it, but one of them, like the answer was quick and simple. It was lead by example, and that was like qualities you see in a good leader or something along those lines. And my patented answer every time I took it was lead by example, and it was like that answer got a 5-star. It was the best answer you could have. And I used to just blurt that out, lead by example. But like the older I get, the more I see the value in that. And if you're trying to teach your kid, or if you're trying to impose that on your employees, whatever it is, if you're trying to tell them the right way to do it, but you yourself are not living up to that standard, it's ineffective as hell. So I think above all else in anything, lead by example. And then if you can then take some moments and explain a little bit of, hey, here's what I did and here's why I did it, to kind of, I used to have a speech back in the day about the foundation and how the foundation is so important to whatever you're going to do. And that's my thing as parents. I think we're building a good foundation, and then they have to then take that and do their own thing, create their personality, whatever. But like if we do our job right, we've put them on a solid foundation that they can grow with.
That solid foundation goes a long way into another portion, and that is choosing friends.
Yeah.
That is huge in Abby's life right now, is choosing friends. Holy shit.
Do either of you guys ever like start to immediately hate your kids' friends and be like, why are you hanging out with that? That person's terrible. Anybody, am I the only one?
No, there's been those people, especially around that age, and because they're just like, oh, this person talked to me. I'm good. I'm good at 9 years old. Yeah, this is great. And they would come over, or she would go over there because she went to a school in the neighborhood there, so they were all right there, and I'm like, nope, no, not that one.
Not
They're
that
like, what's wrong
douchebag.
with them? And I'm like, just no.
I'm
not.
I'm going to make up an imaginary friend name, but I'm just going to say Lindsay because that's a common name. But my kid will be like, well, Lindsay's going to be there, or Lindsay's so cool. And like, I've met Lindsay. Lindsay is not a good kid. And it's like,
Lindsay's a shithead.
and I want to tell my kid, like, hey, you could do better as far as friends go. Like, that kid is not a good kid. They're not a good friend. But like, that's one of their best friends. Can you really say that? So far I haven't.
I did.
But, okay, well, I'm curious because there's times where I want to like I don't want to flat out say that, but I want to lead her to realizing like, oh, maybe that person's not being a good friend to me. But at the same time, that's her friend, and I just kind of
Yeah, leading the witness is definitely a way to do that. But at the same time, sometimes I think it takes straightforward words like, "Nah, this is not working out.
yeah.
This is not working out for me. It's not going to work out for you. The longer it goes on, the more it's not going to work out for you." And then you let it play out.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily, like, it depends on the severity of the situation, right? But if it's just gossipy bullshit, you kind of let it play out. And then 3 months later, they come back and like, yeah, they're not a good friend. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Right. That's one of those where do I want to be able to say I tried to tell you, or do I just want to stay out of it and let her figure it out on her own? And I'm toying with that right now on some different things.
50-50, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want him to be around shitty people.
Yep.
Period. I don't want to be around shitty people. Normally.
My kids are homeschooled.
They go to a place though, right? I don't know the
they
words, but they go to a thing.
They do go to a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with what both of you are saying. I haven't had to come across that yet.
Lucky.
I have had to say, like,
He did once. I mean, you have. It's not that the kid was bad, but bad situation.
Is this like because I'm the only one with a kid in public school? That's why you guys aren't really, or you? I guess you had kids in public school, so you had to deal with it.
yeah.
Yeah. I still am pro public school, but I kind of envy people that don't have to deal with that.
Drawing a blank on this one.
All right.
You can tell me later.
Oh, well.
Anyhow,
But yeah. I think the leading by example is a good way to say that. So, because like the other day, Ainsley participated in a chalk art competition.
first place, if I'm not mistaken.
Her artwork got first place, so she had to do a colored pencil drawing, or she had to do some sort of artwork to be hung up in a gallery. And then there was the sidewalk chalk competition, which is two separate things. The sidewalk chalk competition, we've got some serious qualms with that one because it is used chalk.
It's play for pay.
And
pay for play.
Pay for play. And there are people that were right next to the judge's booth clearly using paint because it said temper paint, and they won.
And you have to pay to vote.
You do?
$25 to vote.
You had pay?
$25 to vote.
Thanks for paying.
Thank you for your
I did.
contribution.
Others did. Sorry. Sorry, Ains. If you ever see this, sorry, I did not. Because
Yeah. Well, I
You
did
would
not-
have won had Kyle had the
Yeah,
balls
paid
to
the
pay.
25. I didn't pay either.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't know you had to pay to vote. Anyway, so we had an event to go to that evening, so she couldn't go to the award ceremony. Bummer for her. And then she texted me and said, like, I didn't win. And I was like, oh, man, I'm sorry, kiddo. Like, I know that you had to work really hard by yourself on this thing, and you're dealing with a bunch of cheaters, which doesn't even help the situation. And her reply to me is showing she's maturing, to which she said, it's okay, Dad. I don't have to win everything.
Nice.
that is because my 12, 13-year-old does not understand that.
Yeah.
But that's why she's a monster. And I'm not saying monster in a bad light, because I've seen when she's on the soccer pitch, she's a monster.
Scary person.
A scary person.
Scary.
But in the 5 years we've been hanging out, like Abby is a good person.
Yeah.
I've seen it in her. And
Are you only saying that so that she doesn't beat you up?
she couldn't beat me up. She still can't.
Okay. I think she's close for me, but
No. She tries, and she still doesn't understand.
leverage.
Fortunately for me, she doesn't understand leverage. She doesn't understand that I do weigh a solid 80 pounds more than her.
Yeah, because she's the strong. When every fight she gets in, she's the strongest person she gets into a fight with. So
So I'm that bigger person that will always inevitably be there.
always humble her. You've always been there to humble her. That's been for years. You've told me.
Yeah, that's my
Got
goal.
to keep her down a little bit.
I don't want her to get punched in the face by the wrong person. But she also doesn't understand center of gravity
Okay.
very well. So I'll let her like lean in, think she's pushing me, and then just whee! Whee!
Ole.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
keeping her in check.
Only 4 games this week,
Right?
starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow.
Sorry for your loss. Real quick, just because you mentioned the art show.
Yeah.
Do either of you guys, and maybe this is specific to my wife, but my wife will like open a letter, like a formal letter from a company, and she'll go, "What?" And then I'll go, what is it? And then she'll just ignore the fact that I asked what's going on, and she'll read it with a real concerned face. And I'll be like, what's happening? What's happening? And then finally she'll go in and be like, oh, nothing. And it was nothing at all. And I'm like, what are you doing? This weekend at like 11 p.m. on Saturday night, from the bedroom, I hear her go, no. And I get up and I go in there to be like, what's going on? And she's looking on her phone. And I'm like, what? And she's like, huh? And she's like reading. And I'm like, what? Did somebody die? And she's like, Ainsley's art show was today. And it's not tomorrow like I thought. And we missed it. I told her I would go and we missed it. And I was like, you almost gave me a heart attack over we missed. Like, sorry, I wasn't that concerned that we missed her art show at all. But like, from 2 rooms away, I heard my wife be like, "No!" and it was all over that. So I'm sorry we missed her show, but that's one of those where I ended up walking out of the room like, Jesus, like what are we doing here? Like,
I was there. No big deal.
yeah,
I'm going to tell Ainsley that
we're bad people.
That you were just like, nah, F that. I'm not going.
Yeah, once I found out she was upset we missed somebody's art show, I was like, oh, and I walked out of the room without saying anything. But for a moment, I thought somebody died, and my wife was finding out about it through text, and I was like, what's happening? Yeah, we missed an art show. I wouldn't have been there even if I'd known about it. My wife would have been there and my daughter, but I would have been at home. So
That's okay.
yeah, sorry, Ainsley.
You don't support my children. I get it.
We both apologized to Ainsley at different times in this.
Kyle's a better second dad than me. What can I say?
That's why you're dad 3.
That works.
So it's another episode where I didn't talk about Amelia.
I thought about it halfway through because my first Ray friend was Amelia.
I love that kid.
Your first what?
Ray friend?
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying your last name.
I say my last name every time. J. Ray.
No, that's fair.
He said your last name twice last episode, and I made him cut it.
I cut it out.
No, see?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want yours out there,
don't
but I
care.
literally
I
say
do not
mine
care.
every time.
I do not care.
I'd rather mine not. So
Well, your doc says it for you.
he said it in one of the last episodes. What's funny, and I might have already told you all this, so cut it if he did. But like recently, he was talking to someone they were like, "Oh, I had a friend that was doing a podcast, and they ended up getting shot." And I was like, "Yeah, that's always a possibility. That's why we're protecting our identity." And he was like, "I never even thought about that." No, I'm constantly aware of that. So yeah, I'm gonna just in case I say anything too wrong, I would like to not have people get mad at me and be able to find me.
That's why we cut out the whole thing we cut out that I don't want to bring
Oh
up.
yeah, good job. Another good job of editing by you.
Yeah.
That was one of those where the next day I was like, I shouldn't have said any of that. And then when you put it
go for
out,
that.
it was all gone. And I was like, that's just better that was gone. So,
Yeah. We are smart, sort of.
well, knowing that now, I'm going to feel more leeway to say, if there's a topic that I'm kind of like, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And then I'm going to trust you in post-production to decide whether or not this
He's
should be
going to leave it
aired.
in most of the time.
He took the one out.
I did.
Okay.
I have certain things I will cut out, but most of the time I'm going to leave it in.
Yeah, if it could cause legal problems for any of us, those should be
that
cut.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a time during this whole conversation where we've talked about Abby, we've talked about Ains, we've talked about Letty. Carter and me are just like, hey guys.
I mean, you talk
Hey,
about
guys.
Carter.
A little bit.
Amelia's just like a super sweetheart.
Yeah, and probably the most outgoing of your kids, the most willing to befriend.
Can you edit out the gap there where he's trying to think about her best quality?
Well, it's not necessarily outgoing, but she is open arms in the world.
Yes, she loves everyone and doesn't think anybody is bad. It's kind of scary.
All 3 of your kids are awesome, but Ainsley's my favorite, and you can tell him I said that.
Okay.
Ainsley has just enough smartass in her. Like Abby's got smartass. Ainsley has a hint of it hidden behind a smile. And like she'll be at a soccer practice that you're not at. And I'm like, "What's up, girl?" And like she's got just a little quip, just nothing mean, but just a little whoop. And I'm just like, "Oh, that was solid. Like good work." And that's
I feel like that's construction humor.
it is. Yeah. So good work on you for raising that one.
Abby would just
Yeah.
That's why I love Abby.
That's the thing is if I walked by Abby and I said, "What's up, girl?" She'd go, "What's up?" and act like she's going to hit me. And then I would be like, I'm sorry. Yeah. So,
I think I would reply, "Are we doing this today? Like this is really right now?"
yes.
I don't know.
I think I've said to her several times, I don't want to fight you, Abby. And I've just walked away. And as I'm walking away, I'm trying to act cool, but I'm also like kind of protecting my neck in case she's coming.
She knows the weak spot.
Yeah. It's just in case.
She might get that Vulcan death grip on you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, what do you think of the screwball? You had a little bit of it?
It's good. It's tasty. I can see why you wouldn't want to drink tons of it.
Yeah. Get old real quick.
Real sweet.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I could see, like, oh, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, you take enough chilled shots of that and you'll remember it next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those.
It's
I'm
like,
bringing Jaeger in a couple weeks just so we can all.
Oh man,
I
that will be
refuse
an that we'll probably get some viewers off that podcast because I'll sit here and get
Yeah.
absolutely hammered.
Real quick, when I was like 21, 22, there was a shot that we used to take at a sports bar in Arlington called, do you guys know who Bobby Valentine is?
Yeah.
So former manager of the Rangers back when I was a kid.
Okay.
But there's a sports bar in Arlington called Bobby V's. I grew up in that place. They have a boxing ring in the center of the restaurant that has tables up in it. So like when I was little, I'd be like, "Dad, can we please sit in the boxing ring?" And he would always make me sit in the bar with him. Now that I'm older, the bar is awesome. It's got like a horseshoe bar. But anyhow, when I turned 21, we'd all go there and we'd get a shot called a Pitbull on crack. And it was Bacardi 151. Bacardi 151 dropped in Red Bull.
Oh, God.
And we would have like 6
can
or
taste
7
it
of
somehow.
them.
You would have a heart stopper, essentially?
Dude, it was
I can
like,
taste it somehow.
when I look back on it, I'm just like, oh, that was the worst. But maybe one night I'll bring Pitbulls on crack in here and we can all just not
I
sleep
would
that
do
night.
that. I would do it.
Next football
One
Sunday.
time? Sure. I would do it.
Are we doing football Sundays?
I'm doing football Sunday every Sunday. It's just a matter of whether y'all come over or not, which
Well,
I'm impartial to. I'll tell you this right now. Like, if you're there, cool. And if you're not there, I'm going to be watching
Like
football.
last weekend, you used to do, we're doing crop pop meal, and I was like, oh, that's not an invitation, so never mind.
Oh, yeah. No, you said, what are you doing today? And I said, I'm watching football. And going forward, that's going to be my answer. And all you have to do is say, I'm going to come over and watch football. And I'll go, cool.
Okay.
Same with you.
I didn't want to invite myself because she was like, so, and I said he didn't invite us, so I'm not going over there.
No, it's a standing. I said this weeks ago, but didn't. If you remember, I said this is a standing open invitation. If I'm not at my daughter's soccer game, that's the only thing that will prevent me from watching football. But if I'm not there, I'm at home watching football, and either of you are welcome to be there. You can bring your families. I'm just not going to talk to your families. I'm going to talk to you and watch football.
Yeah.
Can we do a chili cook-off?
Yeah.
In 2 weeks? Next Sunday? Like, not this one coming up, but like the next Sunday?
I'll have to check my schedule.
I'm going to make my wife make the chili. She makes better chili than me.
Never mind, I lied.
That's
She puts
really
mushrooms in it. That's freaking weird. And,
Dude, her chili's awesome. The one, have you had her one with the cornbread on top?
yeah.
Solid.
We did a chili cook-off then. I can't in 2 weeks. I'll be going to Kansas again.
Okay. Kansas.
Did you just throw out an invitation and then revoke it?
I thought about it, and I can't. Indian gave it. Native American gave it.
gave it.
Not Indian gave.
Yeah, we're on it.
That's awfully insensitive of you.
My wife's going to be mad about that one.
Yep.
Yeah, she's not going to love it.
She doesn't know how to watch it.
No. We should real quick chili cook-off for the show. We kind of actually eating on the air sounds like a terrible idea. So
There's a lot of people who
like a bad
that you would
idea.
be surprised. There are a lot of people who love to hear the so
next time we need to have a serious
ASMR.
debate here. Is chili to you? Is chili got kidney beans or not?
Yes.
I prefer chili without beans. I will eat chili. So
Okay.
if I'm making chili, it is a no bean chili because I prefer it without beans. However, if someone says, "Hey, we're having chili," I'm there.
Okay. Well, as a northerner, I was born in Ohio. So when I came to Texas, my family made chili with kidney beans. And our chili was like runny. It was soup almost. And that was how we made it. And everybody that was a Texan that would have our chili would say, "Oh, this is chili with beans." And I was like, in my mind, I was like, chili comes with beans, dumbass.
Yes.
But apparently in Texas, that's a big like,
Right, my family is from Texas,
yeah.
and so that's
There's
might be
chili and then there's chili with beans.
why. Yeah,
But if you got beans in it, you have to say chili with beans.
yes, you do.
So anyhow.
So it was runny. Like, was that foreshadowing to what you were going to have 30 minutes after finishing the pot? Of chili?
No, and I remember my dad would like pour a whole beer into his chili, which I'd never seen anybody else do.
I have.
That's fine.
Yeah, so our chili was runny, and that like when I first had Texas chili at other people's houses, I was like, "This, what are we doing here? Like, this isn't right." And then I realized that everybody was making it the same way, but us, so we were the odd ones.
So if it's runny, how are you supposed to make a Frito chili pie? Frito's based in Texas.
That's a Texas thing, and I'm from Ohio, so
right.
Yeah.
Like, so that to put things in frame of mind, that's where it's at. Is like in Texas, how are you supposed to make a Frito chili pie with runny chili?
After being in Texas
them
for
up.
so long, I will say I enjoy the non-runny chili now, but at first it was a little bit of a culture shock to me. So
When I moved here to Oklahoma, someone asked me if I wanted a 4-way at a restaurant, and I was like, I didn't realize we were into that, but
How much?
what is it? And that was apparently chili with cheese and onions on spaghetti.
the only reason I knew about
not a
that was
thing
because
here.
I grew up a fan of Steak and Shake, and Steak and Shake had chili 3-way and chili 4-way. So
So I didn't have steak and shake, and I didn't know what the frick it was. When they said,
I-
"Do you want to have a 4-way?" I was like,
how old were you?
I was 25.
Okay, never mind. Then yeah,
The
you
answer is
jump right
always
at
just
that.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the people that were working there. It was at Ron's.
That's not good.
The selection was slim pickings. It was grandma on the corner, her great aunt, and then an overworked, mildly attractive waitress.
When I first moved up here, like the first restaurant that was like a local place that I stumbled upon was Ron's.
Best coleslaw.
And there's a Ron's in Glenpool, Oklahoma. That like that was I don't know why, but I got a kick out of like every time I would go, I'd be like, I'm going to Ron's in Glenpool. And then on the way to there was a shop that had a sign out front that just said guns, 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 and more. And like every time I passed that, I would say it in the most redneck voice. I'd be like, guns, guns, come on down to guns, guns, guns. Like that was my. So I was making fun of the hickness of my area when I first moved up here. Now I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to go to Ron's.
Yeah,
But
Ron's
like,
doesn't suck.
They're the best.
not bad
coleslaw.
at all.
The best coleslaw.
but I just laughed at like I was like, I live in the country now. I'm on my way to Glenpool to Ron's, and while I'm on my way, I'm going to pass by guns, guns, guns.
Everything you just said does sound very country. And
Yeah, as a
this
city
Glenpool.
as a city boy moving up here, like that was a culture shock for real. Like when I first got to where I'm
you
at.
moved here from a state that gave away shotguns when you bought a car.
I didn't realize this. I'll say this. I grew up in DFW in Arlington, and I would tell people, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm from the Bible Belt. I'm from a very conservative area. And then I moved to the outskirts of town where I'm at now, and I learned that I was in a very purple area before. Like I was not like where I'm at now is conservative and Bible Belt. Like I don't. Now that I go, it's funny because I go back to Texas and I'm like fucking liberal as hell. Like that's only DFW. You get outside of DFW and it's not. But very much now I realize that like, oh, I lived in a liberal area and the whole time I thought it was conservative. It's very odd. So anyhow,
I lived in the two states that they just paint red before the election even opens. They just color coded in. They're like Arizona and Oklahoma. That's
I love on
That's all
election
I've ever
night,
lived
and
in.
it's coming up soon, but on election night, like when they like finally close the polls, like immediately they're like, and we're ready to project 37 states. It's like without even counting a vote, these states are decided.
We're good.
Now
We're
let's get
good.
down to the 10-ish that matter. You know, and
we saw them walk in. We
Yeah.
get it. We get it.
Oklahoma is called a minute after the polls close. Like, yeah, it's going red, whatever. So
They don't even count our votes here.
no need. We're good. So
They're just back of the order slips at Ron's. They just print them on that, and they're like, yeah, it's fine. Just
love it.
reuse it.
so.
Perfect.
Send these to guns.
I went into Guns, 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 and More.
More.
I think the store is called Guns, 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 and More, and they sell patio furniture, guns, and safes. I don't know where patio furniture came from. It's odd. You walk in and it's just
Yes.
guns and safes, and then there's a patio furniture section.
Well, how else are you supposed to shoot off your back porch without patio?
That's
furniture?
true.
That and if you got to have something to protect,
You got to protect the patio.
you got it.
furniture.
That's the first thing that they'll come across.
I'm
I
ready
got to
to
protect that.
I'm ready to take somebody's life over my patio
I'm going to
chair.
go to my safe, get my gun, protect my patio furniture,
I love it.
Come and get it
eat my chili burger.
with coleslaw.
That's what I'll let them have my
coleslaw.
chair, but if they try to eat my Ron's burger, I'm not having it.
Sausage
Yeah.
burger.
Sausage burgers.
Yeah.
Also, a thing I had never tried until I moved to Oklahoma.
Ron's sausage burgers. Try them out. You won't regret it.
The first time I went, I asked them what burger I should get, and they were like, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a burger patty with like bacon and ham chopped up and added to like the meat.
Yeah.
And then it also has slices of ham and bacon on top of the meat. Like, I don't even want to ask what the total calories are, but I will say it's a delicious burger, but it's a heart
You
stopper.
will regret it.
Yeah,
Your heart might stop.
it very well might. So if I die and there's Ron's wrappers like nearby, we'll all know what happened. Yeah,
Fair enough.
Don't listen to that, Stephanie. This seems like a great frame job.
that's true. Yeah.
Or do.
Yeah, it's what you want to do.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Andy, anything to say as we leave?
And so I really, there's one thing that I was really, somebody's looking in your window over there.
Smash that like button.
Oh, come on.
He said it for you.
Don't forget to smash that like button.
Can you do it as Hulk Hogan?
I don't want to wait
With my perp.
for another GD podcast again.
Just isolate that. And